Welcome back. It's TV3Newday. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. And as always, you can join us on our WhatsApp line and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hashtag is TV3Newday. Thanks to Grand Park Clothing, Dan Soman, for my outfit. 020-985-9856. That's 020-985-9856. And get something special from him. The Daily Guide, this morning says, Civil Service honors Henry Quarte, bloodbath at NDC elections. Pathetic there. It's primitive for people to be fighting with cutlasses. NPP holds 30th anniversary Thanksgiving. Upon Kroma settles Ofuasia Yorubi Mele. Also, Pinchin there. Primitive. First Kai begins work on Dom Ketasi Road, and that sword was cut on Friday, a day after Adwoa Safo was sacked. The president was in the constituency. Daily Graphic, NPP at 30. Let's work hard to retain power in 2024. President Akufo-Addo. National standardization test results out. For Bono regions, top basic education. Government integrating credit systems into Ghana card. Vice President. And SIM card re-registration extended for 2 months. The Finder newspaper. Help me break the 8 as the last feat of my political career. Nanado is literally begging. $35 million Dom to Ketasi Road takes off. President tax First Sky construction to complete work in 12 months. Upon Kroma Calms tension following Ofuasia Yorubi clashes, and 422,883 start 2022 Wasi today. The BNFT is next. It says armed forces, defense sector to improve supply chain management in operations. Hard times put households on survival strategies. MOFA targets $12 billion revenue from selected tree crops as TCDA unveils 5-year strategy and innovate to stay in business, according to Minister. It tells the business community. The Ghanaian Observer is next. Government's digital initiatives yielding positive results, according to Vice President Bawumia. And the Kitasi story is there as well. Minister appeals for calm of Ofuasia Yorubi clashes, and boss sets record straight. Alleged $78 million scandal, procurement scandal. While government extends SIM re-registration deadline. Adansie. Bad Hohoi roads compel MP Amewu to use chartered helicopter for trips to the constituency. Cancel free fuel supply to public officials. Bishop urges government. And bad faith. High Court judge favors Ni Odai Ayiku as Nungwa Manche orders Welenchi to cease holding himself as such. Nana Frimpoma dares Esla Usu on, says 30th September registration deadline ultimatum not feasible. Is she the new member of the Stubborn Academy? I don't know. President in Garland's stealing syndicate. Rep in double sales lease of airport land fraud. National Security Minister there, as well as James Kobna Datsin. There's the Executive Director of the Lands Commission. Supreme newspaper. Government to roll out self-service SIM registration app to help solve issues of long queues. According to Esla, and you pay 5 cedis when you use that app for a chip that costs how much? NPA assists Zambian petroleum downstream regulator to fight fuel adulteration. And NALAG is poised to make up for deficit in low women representation in local government. And also, Ghanaian Times, SIM card registration deadline extended. Communications Ministry makes U-turn to push deadline to September 30. That makes the 4th extension, isn't it? PURC retrieves 24.7 million Ghana cedis from utilities for consumers in 6 months. And Greater Works Conference starts today. Government committed to industrial transformation agenda despite economic challenges. President Akufo-Addo yesterday. And last but not least, the informal newspaper, Nothing But the Truth. Government digitalization agenda yielding results. Dr. Bawumia. Minority blast Adwoa Safo. Speaker proposes leave for MPs, new standing order in the offing. Energy Minister meets Council of State over energy transition. Ghana card politics haunts NDC. Now admits it's good for voters register. So those are the stories on the front page of the dailies this morning. I've been joined in studio by Honorable Sam Jata George. He's the Member of Parliament for the Ningo Pram constituency. By day and by night, he is the Vice Chancellor of the Stubborn Academy. And Nana Sapon Kuma is the Dean of the Faculty of Violence. Sam, good morning. How are you doing?
A very good morning to you, Johnny. I know of the my day job, the night job we are talking
You are not
about,
aware, or you don't like.
You've just drawn my attention to it.
The Vice Chancellor of Stubborn Academy. Anyway, let's quickly hear the minister, and then we'll get into the studio to have a conversation. We have a chair for the NPP rep, but is yet to arrive. When the NPP rep arrives, we will afford him or her a chair, and then we will get into the conversations. But take a look at this.
Registered SIMs were 26,062,571, representing 62%. The self-service SIM registration app will be ready for commercial launch on Tuesday, 2nd August. Each registration via the app will be subject to a 5 cedi surcharge. Upon consultation with the industry and in view of the challenges enumerated above, I have very reluctantly decided to grant a final conditional extension.
But what accounted for the unimpressive numbers and the extension?
Delays in the issuance of the Ghana card was the largest single challenge bedeviling this exercise. And my information is that the NIA has not been able to issue all eligible persons with a Ghana card. Many data-only SIMs have also not been registered. And my information is that their owners were not aware that those SIMs also needed to be registered. Amputees and others who have some physical challenge are also a category of persons who are having some difficulties registering this. Indicate that there was a 90% drop in SIM registrations as soon as the first deadline was extended on 21st March. Until a week ago, there were no queues at any registration center. People started rushing to register when they realized that the deadline was imminent after going to sleep when it was extended. Any SIM that has not been fully registered by the end of August will be barred from receiving certain services, including voice and data services. It will also be more expensive to use unregistered SIMs. Kindly do not blame your service provider when you suffer that fate due to your own inaction. To be forewarned is to be.
Okay, so that's Esla Osokufo, Minister for Communication, Digitalization and Innovation. Sam, good morning to you. You predicted that this day, again, this will be the fourth time you were predicting, or third time, that this day would happen again, and it's happened. Where are we getting it wrong? The flip-flop, the U-turn, the back and forth. Where is the ministry or the minister getting it wrong?
Well, good morning again to you, to the good people of Ningo Pram, and to our viewers. It's been a painful spectacle to watch, and I said that this performance by the Minister for Communications is going to be the subject of case study in many university lecture halls for students of public policy on how not to implement public policy. If you listen to the minister yesterday, she blamed everything and everybody except herself, from the conflict in Boku to the NDC to the NIA, but didn't take any blame. It's unfortunate that you have such a shambolic rollout of public policy for a technological product which is supposed to make things better and easier.
Right.
Technology eases things. This is making things more cumbersome. You know, the minister clearly has lost the plot. Because as minister, you're not an implementer. You give policy directions.
Right.
On this matter,
So agency has to implement.
the National Communications Authority ought to be implementing this policy. They have technically skilled professionals who know what ought to be done, not the minister. But when the minister decides to relegate an agency, an authority under her that ought to be implementing policy and be front and center. And then she turns around to say, why are people blaming her? Who should we blame? You have sidestepped the agency, the authority. The NCA has been silent on this matter. Nobody has heard the NCA give any implementation plan. It's always the minister. Ministers, your job is supposed to be policy.
Their silence could mean their consent.
No. Their silence is simply meaning that they have been sidestepped and they are listening to the madam at the top, who doesn't want to listen to anybody. Because we have made this, look, and this is not rocket science. You get me? This is not rocket science. Look, if you listen to the minister yesterday, and that's what I've said, once again, she set herself up for ridicule and for failure.
How?
Her directives, her directives are just hot air. It's like a haughty headmistress who is trying to talk down her students. She works for us. She serves us. That's one thing she should bear in mind. She's a public servant. She can't be telling us that she's reluctantly granting us. Reluctantly. Like we care.
You don't?
Whether reluctantly or willingly, you will grant us the extension, and you have.
Up until when?
Up until it makes logical sense. Because look, let me use her own statistics to show you the impracticality in her directives. 42 million registered SIM cards in Ghana. So 42 million active SIM cards in Ghana.
Yeah, subscribers.
Per her own data, 25 million have completed stage 1 registration. That makes 60%.
The star 4.
The star 40 thing. And that means those are people who may have had a Ghana card and tried to do the first phase. 16.8 or almost 17 million, making up 40%, have not registered at all, meaning they don't have a Ghana card. 16.8 million. Now that is a chunk of cards that don't exist. Now, stage 2 registrations, 16.3% have completed the process. Now, what that means is that of the 25 million who have done the star 4, the short code thing, the USSD thing, and to do that, you must have a Ghana card. Of the 25 million, only 16.3 million have gone on to do phase 2. Is it because they don't have the time to go and queue up and have biometrics retaking again? And that's where the question comes. Why should we have the biometrics retaking again?
Why shouldn't we?
Because the NIA has their biometrics. And if you are using the NIA card, which is the Ghana card, all you need to do is query the system using the details that they have entered, and you populate it. But because the ministry is engaged in its own procurement, instead of using the NIA's procurement system, the Ministry of Communication wants to do procurement, and so they've sidestepped an existing platform that the NIA has, which SNIT used recently.
Right.
You didn't hear pensioners being told
DVLA as well.
to go and bring their SNIT cards. DVLA didn't ask drivers to bring their licenses to get linked to. It happened.
Is there money involved?
Oh, absolutely. It's procurement. It's procurement. That's the interest of the minister. Not a platform that works. Not a platform that has a track record of working. It's about procurement for her. And so Ghanaians are going through all of this. So people have to then go and queue again at registration centers. And so you see a challenge. But let's even go back to the 16.8 million who don't even have the Ghana card at all.
Right.
Per the minister's own data, as at 21st of July, the NIA had issued 15.5 million cards. 15.5 million cards. 15.5 million cards have been issued since 2018 till date. Almost 4 years. you have a shortfall of 16.8 million SIMs that haven't been registered. Let's even assume that for each of those SIMs, one person owns 2.
Right. Which is a possibility.
You know, let's assume that. One person owns 2. It means you need about another 8.4 million registrants to go through the Ghana card system to be able to register those SIMs. It took the NIA 4 years to produce 15.5 million cards. But you think that in 2 months, the NIA can produce 8.4 million cards. In 2 months, they will do half of what they've done in 4 years. Esla also has some magic wand she's going to wave that will make the NIA so efficient and so effective. Look, a number of issues arise from her directive.
For example?
First and foremost, she says that there is an app and you can use that app to get registered.
That's right.
That's fine. But when she goes ahead to announce a cost for the app, then there's a big problem. Has that charge, that fee, been approved by Parliament?
I asked that question this morning. You have no information?
No, Parliament has not.
So why then are we announcing that?
You should be asking the minister.
But the minister is your colleague in Parliament, so...
The minister seems to have absolutely no regard for the processes and principles of Parliament. Because, first and foremost, she's sidestepping the legislation Parliament has put in place for registration of SIM cards, LI 2006. Now she's sidestepping the Fees and Charges Act and announcing a fee for a government service without recourse to the Fees and Charges Act of Parliament. An illegality in itself. I mean, you ask yourself, what's going on in this country? To see the contradiction. The SIM cards deadline, registration deadline was yesterday. It was only yesterday that the minister gave a roadmap for Ghanaians in the diaspora who have SIMs that are active on how they could even get their SIM cards registered. So she is talking about Ghanaians being lazy and not wanting to get their SIMs registered. She has slept on her job. If there is any Ghanaian who's been lazy and failed in the exercise of their duty, it is the Minister for Communications who gave a directive in October, 1st of October, to start the registration of SIM cards, but forgot that we have Ghanaians who are serving this country outside of this country. We have Ghanaians who are resident outside of this country who have SIM cards.
Well, maybe
and it is on the date of the elapsing of the deadline that she remembers and is now giving a roadmap.
Could it be one of the considerations, of course, based on feedback that she got?
So you see, that's why I said that, look, if this was a proper jurisdiction, the Minister for Communication should still not be holding her job. She has shown that she's completely clueless and incompetent.
That's not fair.
What is not fair? What is not fair? Ministers resign when agencies under them fail in their actions. This is not an agency failing. This is the minister herself failing. Like I said, if the minister had remained the initiator of policy and allowed the agency under her, the NCA, to do the implementation of this policy, the NCA has enough technical hands to have known that you needed to also have a platform and a roadmap for Ghanaians outside the country to be able to register. So you on the day of deadline, you are now announcing a roadmap for a platform that has not been tested. A platform that we do not know its functionality. And she herself alluded to when he said, barring any unforeseen circumstances.
Right.
You understand me? So we should ask ourselves, you have rolled out something for 10 months. In 10 months, you absolutely forgot that you have Ghanaians outside who need to register. And it's not like nobody has been screaming this out. We've been talking about this. She had no plan for them. And then now you say that they outside the country can register on the app using their passport.
That's right.
On what basis? What power? You see, when I argued about LI 2006 and said to the ministry that LI is the only law in this country that regulates the registration of SIM cards, and that LI in section 2 mentions an identification document, and in section 10 lists those identification documents as the voter's card, the driver's license, the passport, the health insurance card, and the Ghana card. Health insurance, leave it out because of the functioning, the effect of Abu Ramadan versus Electoral Commission. Yeah. I was told by the minister and her spokespersons that no, that's not the law we are using. We're using LI 2111, and LI 2111 says we must use only the Ghana card. Okay. For the purposes of this conversation, let's even assume that wrong position is right. Is the minister now telling us that she's flouting the provision of the law that she says she can only use Ghana card to now ask other Ghanaians to use passport?
But there's a caveat to it. The minister has a law. She said you can use it to register, and after 3 months you regularize it with your Ghana card.
No.
Is that not what you said?
Don't confuse your listeners.
I'm not confusing you. I'm asking you a question.
The 3 months is for persons entering the country.
That's right.
When you travel to any country today, at the airport, you can buy a SIM card and register it.
That's right.
It's got limited functionality. In fact, when you go to a country like the UAE, when you arrive at Dubai, when the immigration officers stamp your passport, they put a SIM card in there. It's valid for 90 days. If you want to use it beyond 90 days, you then have to go through a more detailed KYC.
But that's
so the 90 days. No, please, please let me land.
That's one leg. The other leg of the passport bid for people living in the diaspora.
Johnny, please don't confuse.
Hold on.
Johnny, don't confuse the issues.
Hold on. I know that you are the vice chancellor of Stubborn Academy, but allow me. Now, you can register outside with your passport. That's what she said. And then while you make efforts to get your Ghana card. Is that not what she said?
Johnny, your line of questioning is going to confuse your listeners. Please listen to me. And please don't follow the misinterpretation and misinformation out there.
I'm putting the issues, the said
please,
to you.
The issues of 3 months is limited to persons entering this country who need SIM cards for their stay. Most times when you're entering Ghana, you have a 90-day window.
That's right.
And so you can register. If your stay here would cause you to stay beyond 90 days, for example, you're a contract worker and your contract is for 180 days, you have a work permit. She's made it clear that in that instance, you try to get the non-resident Ghana card and use that to do registration. Right. For persons outside, and go back and play her press briefing for your viewers to hear, so that it is not that Sam George is saying, go let production cut that portion now and play it.
You want to produce the show now?
Oh yeah, no, so that we are clear. What she said was for Ghanaians outside, they can register on the app, because the app is a VPN API.
That's right.
That will determine that you're outside the country. And on the basis of that, you can register your SIM card using your Ghanaian passport. There is no time frame for that registration, because there are Ghanaians who are residents in the UK. For example, if you're a student who's just gone to the UK, you don't have a Ghana card. I'm wrapping up. You have you are doing a 4-year program. For 4 years, you're not coming back home. You're on scholarship. So there is no 3 months timeline for that. It means that person has registered their SIM card with their passport. And that's what I'm asking. For those Ghanaians, what legal backing? What is the legal basis for her to give that direction? And you see, because I represent the people, and I think that we want to help the people. If you are here in Ghana and you don't have a Ghana card like me, and you want to get registered, and you think that Ghana card, you've gone to register for Ghana card, yes, they've not given you your card, and this app comes, simply download a VPN. Download a VPN app. Change your location, your IP location to outside Ghana. Go on the app.
You're teaching people to do bad things.
No, we are taking advantage of the poor policy implementation of the minister. Use a VPN and register your SIM card with a Ghanaian passport.
You seem to have a way out of all the challenges that the ministry and the minister seem to. And let me quickly introduce Prince Fosu Sefa as well. He's the CEO of GIFEC. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'll come to you shortly. Now, you seem to have an idea of how we can get out of this quagmire. Why are you on that same strength discouraging people from registering?
I haven't discouraged people from registering. I have made a point. Look, the NIA is not structured in a way to produce SIM cards, Ghana cards in large volumes in a short period. The NIA is structured and built as an institution to produce cards on a going basis. So it's a continuous registration agency. Now you have a minister who has chosen to make the product of the NIA's work a sole card for registration and has gone ahead to put a deadline. If you want to use the NIA's product, then make your product or your directive conterminous with the product, the operations of the NIA on a continuous basis. If you choose to set a deadline and the NIA can't meet it, I mean, Faith and Hope, when she was asked the question about whether the NIA can produce the cards yesterday, you heard her answer. Said she hopes. Hope and faith are not functions of public policy making.
Okay, thank you. Sefa, good morning.
Morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. How are you?
I'm alive and well. Great.
The last time I came in, you were just around. We never really got to talk
of course,
much.
Of course.
Yes.
What's this back and forth about this whole Ghana card, SIM card registration? It looks like a lot of frustration for the people, and people generally are not happy. If you join the queues, you'd hear them. They're frustrated. It does appear the minister is not listening, and seems to be running the show the way she wants. Is that helpful?
I think the minister is very much listening. If you look at all that has happened since we started, September of last year, there's been a lot of listening that has happened, clearly. And, it's interesting, my honorable colleague here would often try to get ahead of the minister and say that, don't worry, we're going to extend it and all that. She knows the minister is listening. But we all know how some of the political game works. Although I know he's a master of that aspect. But he knows that the minister listens, the government listens, and policies are based on the feedback that we get from the public. But having said that, when you're in government, as he was during the time of the last LI, the SIM registration, 2011 regulations, when they came out, when you're in government, you need to lead the progress. And so you need to persuade people along and to nudge people along. That is not the same as saying that you are not listening.
But you're threatening people. You're telling
it's not threatening.
You will block your.
No. The government needs to enforce the rules. The same registration regulations and the acts, the NCA Act that underpin it, requires that the government controls how SIMs are registered, and we all agree. I'm sure
you've done 4 extensions already.
Yes,
you
you
can't be a woman of your words,
Chief. The last time my colleague's government was in power, they tried to do a SIM registration, and from 2011, and it was botched. Didn't work. We also see, yes, it didn't work. That's
Ghana
why we're doing it again.
SIM registration. Ghana card or SIM registration?
SIM re-registration.
I registered my SIM.
SIM re-registration was done under my honorable colleague's government, and it failed. It was botched. And that's the lessons that we're trying to implement to make sure that this time around, we're very successful with it. That's one of the things that underpin, just as Nigeria did, the reasons why we ensured that there was a biometric component to the SIM re-registration. We've learned lessons. And we're going to make sure that the re-registration this time is successful. They, on the other hand, have specialized And as you yourself was questioning him, I was keenly listening to it. They seem to be telling people the things that they should be doing that in many ways go against the enforcement that is happening. Why? They told people to boycott. They told people that they are going to court and the government doesn't have any locus to be enforcing SIM re-registration. Why is my colleague, my honorable colleague, busy in trying to tell people along the way not to follow? And every time they go to court, they're pushed back. Every time.
Are you going about this SIM re-registration in the best way?
We're going about it in the best way.
How?
Because we make sure that when the SIM is re-registered, not only do you link it to the most authoritative, the most well put together card that we've ever had in this country as the main card, ideally the sole card for linking the your SIM and re-registering your SIM. We're also going about it the right way by ensuring that the biometric aspect, which ensures that not only are you the one registering your SIM, all right, with your Ghana card, ideally, and for the most part, that's what pertains for most people, but we have some caveats as you were talking about. But you also verify yourself as the one who actually did it. So we have it on record because we've learned lessons. The last time they tried to do the SIM registration, they were linking it to so many different cards, and many of those cards ended up having issues, and that corrupted the data again.
So, for example, I use my biometrics that I obtained for the issuance of a Ghana card to me. If I go to register my SIM, again, my details will be taken again. My prints will be taken again. But this is where you lived and schooled. That Ghana card that has your biometrics as the basis for generating that card will not have to go through the process all over again. My biometrics are taken for my voter's ID card. Same thing taken for my passport. Same thing taken for my driver's license. Now, same thing taken even for my NHIS, my SNIT. Then at every single step, the country that already has my prints is consistently asking me to come and do the prints again. That's what causing the queue.
Yes.
Why are we doing that?
I know that you have a point. Ideally, once we've taken your biometrics, we wouldn't have to take it again. But we all live in this country. Why is it that when we're going to vote, and I'm sure you support the fact that when we go and vote, we will identify ourselves again? Why? Because we know in our situation, we're very much developing our democratic dispensation. And we have had some history, see? So we're a lot more careful in making sure that not only have people registered, let's say, for the voter's ID, but when they go in to vote, they verify themselves again to ensure that indeed they are the bearers of those voters' ID with which they're going to vote. There's nothing wrong with that.
But you're stressing the people.
I know there's a little bit of stress.
There's a lot of stress, actually.
It's for the interest of all of us. We have realized that if you relax the process, in many ways, as our friends did for 8 years, they had Dr. Haji at the NIA. Part of the reasons why we're facing what we're facing today is for 8 years, they weren't doing anything there. They issued some Ghana cards. They got nowhere. They couldn't complete the process. It was, with due respect, it was incompetent. And it was not complete. The minister doesn't want to continue a project that has no end date. Why are
you living in the past?
No, I'm not living in the past. I'm mentioning the past because the past in many ways is explaining what we're facing today. If you go out, and we know that our honorable colleague here, they have some supporters, although, it's been shown over the time that their base of support may be a little bit less than that of the MPP, but that's fine. At least they have about 40% of the population on their side. and they go out and tell them boycott the process. 40% or so of our population, you tell them to boycott the process. You have 8 years to complete what was started under President Kufuor in terms of the NIA.
It means they are powerful if they can do that.
Of course they are powerful. They have an impact. And they are the loyal minority in this country at the moment. So they are not powerless. And they told all those people, do not go and register. They told them boycott the process. They said that the same registration, the government cannot compel you to do what needs to be done. They said all those things.
But he's quoted law to back it. That he's asking questions.
He's quoted law
of the minister.
Well, but that's
that the minister insists that it's only the Ghana card that can be used. Now, subsequently,
but
the minister is introducing the passport.
That is the law in Act 2111. It's in there that the Ghana card shall be the sole card for the registration of the SIM.
How does the passport come in now?
Oh, because we have exemptions. And I was very interested when he talked about the fact that, so why are we allowing other cards to be used?
If I can use my passport, why stress me?
So how about I also ask you, with due respect, where we are now, how is that better? Where we have so many cards that are registered with so many other cards, a lot more cards. As of now, there are 2 cards that I know of that are being used as the minister is using. But then again,
so for my point is
if I could just finish this point.
Sorry.
Can you give me just 1 minute?
Okay, well.
Right? At the moment, we're looking at the Ghana card and the passport.
Right.
2. The reason being that there are some people...
the latest introduction.
Yes. No, it's not the latest. In fact, we've already been looking at the diplomatic corps. And I know I was part of this project, and right from the beginning, we're looking at those that have legitimate reasons why they could not use the Ghana card. And that has been considered. Ideally, we want people to be using only the Ghana card. And I know that the law recognizes that we're doing our very best to comply with it. But the law is made for our progress. Right? So we looked at it and realized that there are certain segments of the population that have special reasons why. Those who are in the country, but they're part of a diplomatic corps, for example.
So they can use their passport.
Those who have traveled outside and are not able to come back.
And that's what he's questioning, that which part of the law are you, because he raised those questions earlier when he said that the deadline that had been set by the minister was unrealistic, and that it was going to be extended. And then it came to pass. We have not been told why. It's because the point is that if I have a passport and I can use my passport to register my SIM, why would you torment me all this while when you knew that eventually I could use my passport?
No. That, with all due respect, that is looking at this the wrong way. The reason why I say that is that if you look at the population that has a passport, I think it's about 1% of the population. All right?
Right.
So it's not a huge number in terms of the population that we're dealing with. But we've also realized that some of these people have a special circumstance. They're often people who are not physically here.
Like amputees, for example.
Sure.
I have no print. Are you considering my toe prints, my retina?
The minister is looking at all these special situations.
She didn't say how she was looking at it.
She talked about it. I was there yesterday.
Hold on. She spoke about mentioning it and not giving us a direction of where we should go. Because she was very emphatic that expatriates, members of the diplomatic corps, can use their passport. If you're coming into the country, you can register with your passport, regularize after 3 months, correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm asking if, for example, my hand is cut, I'm an amputee, I have no prints. How do I get a Ghana card? Are you considering my toe prints, retina, identifier? How are you going about that? There was no policy direction there.
The minister said that this is being looked at, guys.
When you say
hold on, I heard.
What exactly does it mean?
I heard my honorable colleague.
No, answer my question.
I am answering your question, but I heard him also talk about this, that this is not planned out, it's not put together, it's not all together. That is still huge progress from what we saw in 8 years
You are not-
under
you are
his
not
government.
answering my question.
I
You're
am
going
answering
back to
your
living in the
question.
past.
I'm not living in the past. I'm just saying that it's interesting to see a group that didn't even move the needle.
That's not the
explain
point.
where
I'm
we
saying
are.
that I'm asking if this morning, if there's an amputee watching me, he has no pounds, and he must get a Ghana card to register his SIM. How does he do that?
That's why I'm saying the minister did mention
That you're looking at
you
it.
said she wasn't a listening minister, but she mentioned that this is being looked at because we get feedback. When you implement a project, things evolve. All right, that should not in any way negate the progress that is
But
happening.
Prince, when you tell me you are looking at something and you have not given me direction, you have given direction for an app, you have given me direction for passport usage, you have given me direction for this, and me, the person living with disability, you have not given me any direction. This morning, if I want to go and acquire a Ghana card, how do I do it?
Yes, you were saying that the minister, Honorable was saying that the minister didn't give a specific directive until now for those who are living in the diaspora or who are abroad, because these things were being looked at. But eventually, we see that the policy is forming. He was also accusing her of not.
You're moving away. I've asked you a specific question.
One second.
I beg
if you could just give me.
I beg you. I'm sorry, Prince.
That's okay.
I've asked you a specific question.
Yes.
That this morning, if I'm an amputee, I have no pounds, I have no fingerprints. I want to acquire a Ghana card and I want to be within the deadline of September. How do I go about it?
That's what I'm saying. That I can't answer that question because I don't control the NIA.
But you
or
said you
don't
were
have
part
the policy.
of the
I'm part of the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization.
Right.
And I'm saying that from our aspect,
And
we're
innovation.
saying that we've gotten feedback. So we're talking to the NIA and other stakeholders that we've gotten feedback about people with some of these very special needs. And as we see that, it's fine to criticize and say that why didn't you see all these ahead? But it's still major progress because the large majority of people are able to do the fingerprint and the facial. Now we're looking at maybe those who can only do facial. How do we resolve that?
Okay.
These are just parts of progress.
Let's quickly
being
look
made.
at the app and then we'll take a break. We'll return, have a second bite on this one. How was this app contracted?
I can't speak to that.
You can't speak to that.
I can't speak to that. For me, all I know is that there are developers. My understanding is these are African solutions that are being created and put together by Africans. It's something we should be proud of.
How much did it cost us?
Oh, I'm not into any of that. That's with all due respect, that's not my area. But if you look at the fact that we're developing innovative solutions, all right? The only other option was to use biometric devices that you could use to verify yourself like you do when you're going to vote. And that was very costly. I know that for a fact because I was part of the project. And when that wasn't feasible, an app was looked at as a way to do enough capture of people to verify their identification, or at least to capture that identification and put it on the record. These are African solutions being put together by Africans. I mean, we should be proud
not
of
be
it.
concerned
And
about
you're going to have a self-service app
the cost,
that can allow you.
The procurement processes.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be concerned about that. I'm just saying that I'm not the person
You're not the
to
person.
be answering.
We'll
those
take
questions.
a break. When we return, my guest will still be in studio. Prince Ofosu Sefa is here. He's the CEO of GIFEC, and also Sam Jatta George is a member of parliament for the Ningo Prabram constituency. This is TV3 New Day. Welcome back. TV3 New Day here, and thank you very much for your messages as far. We'll get to read some of your messages shortly. Sam Jatta George is my guest in studio on the side of the NDC. He's the member of parliament for the Ningo Prabram constituency, and also Prince Ofosu Sefa. He is the CEO of GIFEC. He's here on the ticket of the NPP. Gentlemen, welcome back from the break. Good morning. Sam, so take a second back quickly, and then the Prince has tried to explain some of the concern or answer some of the concerns that you had. Satisfied?
I can understand Prince. I mean, he has to protect his boss. And so I know that deep inside of his heart, most of the things he said, he himself, he doesn't agree and believe in it. But I'll just say a few things he also said which are factually incorrect. I would set the record straight. First and foremost, it is not true that the NDC, when William Haji was not there for 8 years, he was there for a little over 4 years, and then Griffiths took over. But in the 8 years of the NDC, it is absolutely not true.
The result was
that
the same.
There were no cards produced. You've seen prominent persons. President Kufuor was registered. He received his card in his own house. Pakwesi Indum has put out his card publicly. That was issued to him in 2010. You understand me? Recently, you saw the NIA destroy. You remember?
Right. The videos.
The videos of cards that were printed.
They said they were old.
They said
old
those
cards.
were old cards. So if you are telling me that cards were not produced, nothing was done recently. So I'm just putting the facts straight so that we realize that it is not flowery, fine slang English that necessarily means that everything is right. I get it. You need to protect your boss, but let's be factual. Again, let me call Prince out. When he says that LI 2111 says that the Ghana card is going to be the sole card. He hasn't read that LI. If he has, he won't make that point. I can challenge him and I can give him my tablet.
The CEO of GIFEC has not read that.
Clearly, he hasn't.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you did. You can play it. You said you can play the voice because as soon as you said it, I wrote it down.
You said
it is the sole card. You said the Ghana card is the sole card.
That was when I asked the conversation about their passports.
Yes.
Yeah, inclusion.
Section 7 of LI 2111 is here.
Read it.
Mandatory use of national identity card. 7.1. A national identity card issued to an individual shall be used for the following transactions where identification is required. And it lists them, 13. It doesn't say shall be the sole card. And that's been the gravamen of our argument. When you say something shall be used, it makes it mandatory. It doesn't make it unitary. In law, when something is going to be the only thing, it is made mandatory. Again, let's be clear. When you go to section 23 of this LI,
Same act.
of this same LI 2111, there's actually a revocation clause where it revokes existing legislations that this would supersede. And in there, it revokes. It says legislative instruments made under the Identity Cards Act, 1972, NRCD 129, and enforced immediately before the commencement of these regulations are hereby revoked. LI 2006 is not revoked. So when Prince makes the point, that's why I said respectfully, I'm sure he hadn't averted his mind and read it. Maybe it's part of the briefings he was given, but whoever gave him that briefing misled him. Again, he says that there are exemptions in the law. LI 2111. Again, I challenge him. There are no exemptions that allow for the minister to say, you can use this. Again, if you read that LI, section 2 of that LI provides exemptions.
Could the minister be taking her power from Article 296?
Article 296 says discretionary powers cannot be used arbitrarily and you cannot have discretionary power on something where legislation exists. Discretionary power is used where there is no legislation. Where there is specific legislation, you cannot use discretionary power. Section 2 is section 2 of LI 211 is where the exemptions are. These are the exemptions. Exempt individuals, diplomats, or employed by a diplomatic mission or consular mission, employed by the UN or an agency of the UN, a spouse or a dependent of any of such persons. Those are the only exemptions in the law. Which exemptions here empower the minister to use to say you can use your passport as a Ghanaian outside the country? So that's what I'm saying. His brief is faulty. Now let's deal with the fact that he says the minister is a listening minister.
Yes. You have your doubts?
We've been talking to the minister since October last year. The very things we're talking about. And even if you go back, even if you go to my Facebook page, barely 2 weeks ago, when I returned from Malawi, I was accused by persons who are aligned to the NDC that why was I even begging the minister? Because I literally made a plea to the minister with a way out, with suggestions on how we can make this less painful for Ghanaians.
And she didn't listen.
The committee has met with the minister. At least our side of the committee has met with the minister on 3 occasions on this matter. She's not listening to any of the things. And when you tell me that this is a minister who is working and delivering, I get it. You're protecting your boss. In protecting your boss, you're protecting yourself as well. Because if he comes to sit here and states the technical truths that he knows, that I know he knows, he may not see the end of the week there. But you see...
Oh, how?
I mean...
The minister doesn't believe in professionals and...
If she did, should have listened to his advice. Before he went to GIFEC, he was at NCA. And that's why I said the minister has sidestepped NCA in this implementation. And that's why you are seeing this kind of mess. Okay? If Prince was going to speak technically without fear of repercussions, he would tell you that the minister's implementation of a policy, including deadlines, at a time when she is still thinking and doesn't have the solution as we speak today, for persons who are disabled or living with disability, is in itself a failure. The fact that it was only on the date of the deadline that she could come up with a roadmap that has still not even been tested for persons outside of this country. You tell me that this is a minister who has been listening. We've been raising this issue since October last year.
Do you see another extension coming?
Oh, look, whether she likes it or yes, her hope that the NIA would produce enough cards for you to reach a sufficient enough threshold where you will say, okay, let us say those who have not done this will be punished, cannot be achieved in 1 month or 2 months. He used the example of the voter's ID card. Now let's clarify this. When you are registering for the voter's ID card, they capture all your 10 fingers.
That's right.
When you are going to verify, they capture all your 10 fingers. You use 1 finger to verify. Okay? And that is because of the processes that have been spelled out in the CI, legislative instrument. It is a constitutional instrument. It is a creation of law, a creation of parliament. You must verify biometric verification devices as a layer of security. Is he telling me that driver's license, DVLA, who didn't require drivers to come back and do a biometric capture before their database has been linked to the NIA database, are wrong? Is he telling me that SNIT, that has done same for all SNIT payers, including himself, his SNIT card, he's a SNIT payer. His SNIT details have been linked with NIA. Did SNIT invite him to come and do data capture? SNIT simply used the NIA thing. You see, when you ask him about that, that one day he says, hey, I can't talk.
He said he's not the one.
He's not the one
answer.
doing that one. He can't answer. Yes,
You're
but
asking
the ones
about procurement. I mean, am I?
But no, I'm asking
But how do you check the
no,
app?
listen,
I asked you if you have checked the
forget
app.
procurement. Like I said, he's a technical person. Prince, are you telling me as a technical man who has worked at the NCA and has worked in the industry before, that the only way you can verify and authenticate that I, Sam George, own the SIM card I use is by me going back to recapture my biometrics, when already my biometrics, those biometrics sit with the NIA, and MTN, my service provider, has my details? Are you telling me that you are saying MTN cannot query the AFIS system and on the basis of that query verify my identity?
Okay.
Is that the suggestion you are making?
Allow him to answer.
Is that the suggestion you are making as a technical person?
Prince, would you take that question?
Yeah, I'll take it out. But I was also amused that he keeps going back in time and you didn't call him out. It's not a criticism, it's an observation.
Back in time. How?
Right? He's going back in time because some of these issues have been sent to competent court of laws. The Accra High Court ruled that the suit that was filed challenging the SIM card registration in Ghana has been dismissed.
Right.
A court held that the SIM registration directive by the National Communications Authority, NCA, was lawful and in the public's interest, and none of the actions of the NCA violated any law. This followed the dismissal of the injunction application filed by lawyers for the applicant in 2021. Every time my honorable colleague and his friends
Go to court. They are
go
pushed
to
back.
court, they're pushed back. The courts are also citizens, or is full of citizens who know and can interpret objectively what is in the interest of the public. They looked at the law. I know. Hold
Ask
on.
him
Please,
what went
if
to
I can
court.
just finish. Sam.
You don't read this.
I
What
mean,
case went to court?
No. I mean, you challenge the same registration process, and a competent court of law
That's not
has
true.
said that.
That's not true.
It's a competent court
What-
of law.
what were the
But if I could just
What-
finish.
what were the
Court
demands?
was not
Hold
what
on.
we are talking about.
What were they seeking? What release were they seeking?
They were seeking, they challenged the legality of the SIM registration process.
Okay.
Please, I am not here to dissect the
No,
law. I'm not a lawyer.
I'm not saying you're a lawyer. You're making reference to it.
Yes, but the court itself, that was the ruling of the court.
Right.
He said that
You need to know what the act was before you understand the ruling.
You see,
Allow me some, please.
Sam, I am not a legislator, and I don't know the ins and outs of the legislations like you do.
But what did they take to court?
They took to court the legality
The legality.
of the SIM registration
So they were
process.
asking for the court to declare it
illegal.
And
they
the court
didn't.
says no.
I just read what they said. You see, so I don't want to get so deep into an area that's not my area of expertise.
Okay.
Respectfully.
Now go to area
But
of
I'm just
expertise.
saying that the process has been found to be lawful, legal, and in the interest of what? The public.
Okay.
And we're sitting here talking about things that are not fully gelled, and whether the NIA will be able to deliver within the time frame. Of course, we're looking at all those things. But remember, a large majority of Ghanaians have their Ghana card. At least the adults have their Ghana card.
Right.
And we need to make sure that these folks are not listening to my honorable colleague, and dilly-dallying around, and that they are going in.
He has asked you a question.
I see that you're speaking for him a whole lot.
I'm not
But
speaking for
when
him.
he's speaking,
I'm not speaking for him because
you let him really flow.
The basis upon which I asked that you interject was for you to respond to a direct question that he had asked. You have spoken for about 3 minutes. You have not answered the question. The question that, are you as a technical person suggesting that the only way to verify if the SIM you have in your phone is actually yours is for people to queue up and take their fingerprint again?
This is a decision.
And I want a technical answer from you as a professional.
Decision. It's a decision point. All right? I'm not saying that is the only way. I already alluded to the fact that, and so you're right, it's not the only way. But this is the way that has been chosen, and I can assure you that it was based on technical advice. I was there. You understand? We faced a situation where we needed to, we wanted to have some biometric verification. Some mentioned when you go in and do your registration, you do your verification to go and vote, do they need to capture all your fingers? That's not the point. They've already captured all your data, right? In terms of biometrics.
That's right.
So to verify you, they don't need to collect every single part of your biometrics. They can just take one finger and it will be able to speak to the database.
So why are you not telling this to the minister?
Hold on.
Guide the minister. Yes.
Allow me.
Yes, go ahead.
Just like you allow some. Just allow me a little
I
bit.
can't ask my questions
No,
again.
but with Sam, I see that you let him flow and stuff.
No, I
So
ask him questions.
Just let me flow a little
I
bit.
ask him questions.
But I'm just saying that, you don't need to get all your biometrics in order to verify. As soon as you can get any of your biometrics, you can verify against the database because they've collected more than what is required to do the verification.
Right.
Ours was a situation, and we've spoken about this. The last time I was here, we talked about it. You were in the host then. I was Bella.
Yeah.
But we spoke about it extensively, where we said that, at the time that we were doing this, we started the SIM re-registration, we realized that the NIA wasn't ready to do biometric verification, such as the EC is able to do with their system at that time. So we needed to find a way. So we decided that let's capture the biometrics. All right. These are from lessons that we've learned from other jurisdictions and case studies, use cases that we have also looked at to make sure that not only do people link their Ghana card or in the case of the exemptions we have so far, the passport, to their SIM card, but we ensure that we are able to get some additional verification information from that person to ensure that they are the ones who have actually done that registration. So that if we need, all right, if the need arises, all right, to verify who actually did the registration, we have evidence to follow.
The questions I have about the application, and maybe I'll just pass them on to you, so maybe the minister can come and give us some more clarity.
Yes, please.
Number one, who built the app? Number 2, how much did it cost the taxpayer? Number 3, has it been piloted? Number 4, how was it sourced? Number 5, does it have parliamentary approval because it's fees and charges? And number 6, if we knew that we could put up an app, why stress the people? Six questions. Press conference could settle that.
All right. I guess we will extend this information to the minister to look at.
And where,
You will not. She may listen to you. Me, she will listen to me.
where's the money? Where's the money going?
She listens.
Since October, she's still listening.
Where's the money
telling
going?
me conversations you've had.
where's the money going?
To so many different people.
Yeah.
She
All
doesn't
right.
look into
But
my
I
conversation.
can't obviously speak for
Right,
my minister.
right.
But
So I'm
these
just
are
passing the question
these
on
are,
to
These
you.
are great questions, and I'm sure I will certainly pass it on to her when I see her. But
And maybe while she talks about it, she can talk about the COVID-19 app and the church app and how it helped in fighting COVID.
Oh, okay.
It
No
came
problem.
from the same Ministry of Communication, Innovation, and
we will
Digitalization.
certainly
Yeah.
try to get her to come on the show
Okay.
as soon as possible.
Why not?
and
Why
answer
not?
some of
Why
these
not?
questions.
This week,
or in other.
if you bring the minister this week, it's free. 1 hour is free. If she comes next week, she'll pay.
We will certainly extend
Safa,
your
thank you
message.
very much indeed
Thank
for your
you.
time. He's the
Thank
CEO
you.
of KIFEC, and Sam George is the Member of Parliament for the Ningo Pram Pram constituency. He's a Member of Parliament by day, by night. He is the Vice Chancellor of the Stubborn Academy. Let's take a look at some of your messages now. Well, the SIM card re-registration with the Ghana card is only to make the Ghana card relevant because the passport is biometric, the SNIT card is biometric, and the voter's ID is biometric. So what's preventing us from registering with those cards other than the Ghana card? The 30th September deadline will be relevant only if the NIA becomes efficient and gives a deadline to give every eligible Ghanaian their card. The fisherman from Osu. And I thought that the minister was going to say, as and when you get your Ghana card, because the problem now we know is the NIA. Good morning, Johnny. Please, let's it's not only the newly posted teachers that are suffering. Nurses too are part. Oh, so nurses are suffering, teachers are suffering. Dr. Baumia's words. As we speak, we have worked for 6 good months without appointment letters. Yet the government and its leaders seem the situation is normal. How can you be at post without appointment letters? Things are really getting out of hand in Ghana day in, day out. The whole country looks like a crime scene. Johnny, I've registered my Ghana card since October 2019, and up to date, my card cannot be traced on their premises. Yakubu from Tamale Station at Salaga. Okay. Honorable George, indeed, is beyond 100% correct and right on what he said about the usual process of the current registration of mobile SIMs that has been led by the telcos from their clients and for customers to do in order not to virtually lose their SIMs. Being a man of 77 years of age and a victim of stroke, I was compelled to inconveniently experience the re-registration of my MTN SIM just last Friday. Mr. Alidu Mahama in Tamale. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Nachi, please, Johnny, is the minister serving the interest of Ghanaians or rather the telcos? Because it should have been the telecommunications industry that was supposed to find a way to register. Mind you, it's about customer service. So the deadline should be given to the telcos, not Ghanaians.
Shall I tell you on this, on this that MTN and Airtel Tigo and Vodafone have actually synchronized their databases with the NIA. So if the directive, they have. So if the directive was given to them to just verify from the NIA, it would have happened. Because MTN, I'm putting it on record, the telcos have done harmonization of their databases with the NIA database already.
So why are we stressing ourselves?
So this new additional layer that is being brought in of going there to go and do another verification, like I said, it's simply procurement.
So that procurement is one. But then if I go to the bank, for example, and I use my card,
I think the telcos have not harmonized.
Of course, they have synchronized. But that's the
bottom line.
Hold on.
MTN has synchronized their database on their own with NIA. So why are you asking me to go and do
the
another
public
thing again?
The synchronization is already done. That is the stage 1 of the 2-step process. The only thing, and we've harped on this over and over again, after you have done that verification, that initial linkage, so to speak. We're saying that the SIM is so crucial, an ID, that we need to do a second step to ensure that we have enough confidence. This is born out of experience. This is born out of the
That
need
I have to be
protect the
physically
people.
present.
Yes.
Physically
Or
present.
not necessarily physically
Sneak
present.
and
Hold on.
got it wrong.
With
Okay,
the, hold,
we'll see you
hold.
tomorrow.
With the app.